Rise and Roar with the Badass Lioness podcast, where women decide no more mediocrity or abandoning their well-being. I am Ginine Emily Smith, your badass host and founder of the Badass Lioness movement. I am a story-to-stage coach and co-host of the TV show Rockstar Diaries Healing Out Loud. Are you ready to level up your standards, rewrite your nervous system, repattern conditioned thinking, and rise into your next chapter? This is the perfect place for you. Everything we share on this podcast is not theory. It is rooted in decades of lived experience that only comes from walking through the fire and coming out changed. Are you ready to turn scars into stories that heal and make a difference? Get ready to rise, revive, and thrive, because the lioness in you is ready to roar.
Welcome to part 2 with Sheevan and Ginine.
Welcome to the Rise and Roar with the Badass Lioness. I'm your host, Ginine Emily Smith, the Badass Lioness. So today's guest is someone who believes success isn't just built through strategy, it's built through alignment. I love that word. You're going to love this guest. She has helped thousands of entrepreneurs, leaders, visionaries. She's helped them break through limitations, uncover hidden roadblocks, and create greater impact, prosperity, and purpose. From overcoming personal tragedy and a near-death experience to becoming a sought-after business advisor. And I can vouch for that because I met her in San Diego at the Deep Dive. She's an outstanding speaker and founder of the Energetic Solutions. Please help me welcome the incredible Sheevaun Moran. Yay! Oh my gosh, I am so excited to hear and see you.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you. Thank you. I love the idea that you're a lioness. Woo!
Badass lioness. Yes.
Ginine and Sheevan pick up right where they left off, talking about taking good care of our bodies.
Another very important thing is actually put minerals into your body. That's really not what most people talk about. Another grounded thing is to learn to breathe and learn to breathe in ways that are going to support where you're going. Mm-hmm. Learn what light works for you. And that's a frequency, right? Some lights don't work for you. And I don't mean, I have been like this since I was a child. So when I would go and build companies, first thing I'd do is I'd change all the lighting in the room. They'd be like, oh, here she goes. And I was like, yep. And, I didn't have science on it. I just knew that the other stuff felt bad. And so I would go and I'd have all of the lights changed in the room. And if they wouldn't change it, I'd bring in my own lamps. And then before you knew it, everybody wanted the office lighting that I had, which was going to make everybody more productive. And that sounds ludicrous, but I mean, I've been doing that since I was 18 years old, interestingly enough. And I'm like 400 right now. No, I'm just kidding.
Is it a soft white or?
It has a little bit of a yellow purple tint to it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So that will help you get grounded. And then the app that we created, it's called My Yangu, and you speak into it and it gives you a frequency that gets your mind completely decluttered. And back into what I call your midline, back into the place that is the true you, so that you can go and create and serve and be of service to your family, your friends, your loved ones, your clients, etc.
You're speaking to the choir. As a music producer, I know about those frequencies. Growing up, there were certain frequencies that just made me angry and distressed, and I didn't understand it back then. And now it's so critical. What you're saying, frequencies and light. Same here. There's some lights that, no, I just can't handle. A lot of the corporate offices, right? They have that, what do you call it? Starts with an F, like the
fluorescent, the blaring, ugly, like it's a people killer.
Okay. So I'm not wrong on that.
No, you're not wrong. No, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
So those are hidden, invisible things if you don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah.
That drain your energy,
Mhm.
which in turn affect your business growth, your personal fulfillment. It all ties together.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so that's why, so maybe you can't change the lights and be kind of, intense like I am. And that's good. That's okay. We don't need a lot of intense people. But that's why the app is designed to get people to have a solution right now, to have something to listen to get them into and away from all of that, into themselves and away from all of that chaotic energy. So those fluorescent lights give off a frequency that is sharp and not a wave. So it's up and down, and a wave is this. If we can get people into the frequency of understanding what their voice waves are giving and then get a remedy from that, they can be more themselves, moment in, moment out.
There's certain voices, and my husband loves to watch that show Bar Rescue. Have you watched it?
I have not.
The guy that's in charge, he'll scream at people because he's rescuing their bars, right? From, bankruptcy or disaster. And his voice like triggers something inside of me. I'm like, especially if it's at night, turn it off. Like, it horrifies me. But I want to talk about business strategy, and I'm going to bring something up unconventional, because I love Taylor Swift and I love Madonna, but it's not for the reasons that most people love them. What a lot of people don't realize is that they are business savvy, like there's nobody's business, because I believe that you can be so talented and so gifted and not be heard above the noise. You can work your whole life and put in your tens of thousands of hours on your gift and your talent, but not have that business strategy. So like I said, this is a little unconventional. I've just been focusing on this the last few years because it didn't come naturally to me. So how does intuition and your gift and your skills, how do you make that complement the business strategy or vice versa? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to learn. So here's something fascinating. We have two parts to intuition. We have the learned intuition, and then we have the real intuition.
Okay.
And the learned intuition is usually based upon, oh, that didn't work. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, that, see that. And so that's learned intuition. And our learned intuition is stronger than our real intuition.
Ooh.
Yeah, big time. And we have to, if we have really good intuition, that's one thing. But then we have to learn what to do next. You can have the best intuition in the world, but then what do you do? So one of the ways I help business owners is to help them tap into their intuition, but I'm their intuition for the beginning, so that I can help them learn to walk and learn to understand when it's just cray cray, and when it's like, yeah. And I have no problem with the strongest, whatever. It's just like, no, wait. And then I'll get them, wrangle them back. So because the learned intuition is so punishment and non-reward based, and our regular intuition is so squashed by, oh, it's just woo, or it's just that airy fairy stuff. It has been so squashed for so long that why would we go toward it? Why would we learn and use it and learn to understand it? In one of my other companies, I have a whole course on that.
I want to take that course, because you just said so many words that resonated because I am an empath. I've always considered myself having excellent tuition. So then why did I make the mistakes in business? And I love what you're saying about learned intuition. And if you don't have it, then get that mentor, take that course and borrow it from the expert. Is that what you were saying? Like
I'm
you
saying,
could
yeah.
be.
Yeah. So when somebody brings me into their business, I look at the landscape of the business through, the filters of strategy and tactics and all of the business things. I mean, I've helped a lot of businesses get built. I'll give you an example of somebody I started that is still a client that I started a couple of years ago, and they wanted to sell their company. And I said, okay, great. I'm not going to look at your intake form. I'm just going to ask you a few questions because I think I know where we need to start. And I don't like to be right. I usually am, but I don't like to be. I like to prove that I'm not. I want to prove scientifically that I'm not. And so I asked a bunch of questions, like 30 minutes worth of questions. And I said, so what about this person? This person is sitting in this role in the business. And
you do not need to be famous to start a podcast. You just need a story, a message, or a business that deserves to be heard. Inside Podcrafter, I help women turn their experience into influence with simple podcast tools, real support, and live office hours twice a month. Because podcasting isn't about shouting the loudest. It's about creating connection, building authority, and making an impact. I'm Lori Hardy, and I'd love to help you finally launch the podcast that's been sitting in your heart.
I'll give you an example of somebody I started that is still a client that I started a couple of years ago, and they wanted to sell their company. And I said, okay, great. I'm not going to look at your intake form. I'm just going to ask you a few questions because I think I know where we need to start. And I don't like to be right. I usually am, but I don't like to be. I like to prove that I'm not. I want to prove scientifically that I'm not. And so I asked a bunch of questions, like 30 minutes worth of questions. And I said, so what about this person? This person is sitting in this role in the business. And he says, well, that is the guy who's running that entire division. I said, so tell me about him. And he says this and that and this and that, and what an achiever he is. And he's been with it 50 years. And I said, you have to fire him. And he said, no. It'll look bad. And I was like, here's the thing. You're paying me a lot. I'm really good at what I do. I don't need to be right. So let's give it 60 days, but I need you to put a few things in place to see if he's going to show his true self. Before the 60 days were up, probably about 30 days, we found out he had been doing things in the business and to people in his organization that were absolutely unethical. But nobody had looked. Nobody saw anything. And I was like, no, this is the person. And then so we did this with this guy. And I said, it's going to be hard. It's going to be the hardest thing you've ever done. And so we got rid of him. He had a little lawsuit and he's like, it's going to cost us millions. I was like, no, not by the time we're done. It's just going to cost us a little bit. And then we did this when hiring to bring somebody in, his COO. And I was like, you need this one girl. And he says, no, she pushes back. And I was like, no, you need this girl. She is going to turn the business. I'm telling you, this girl is our girl. I want this girl in there. I want you to present this to the board and I want this girl in there. And so we got the girl in there and she's kicking butt, taking names, and the entire junky stuff in the back office is getting cleaned up. And so he's gotten accustomed to being like, this is what I'm thinking, because we trained him and got his intuitive muscles more trained so he could pay attention to them.
Is that your biggest challenge because I was in the C-suite in the corporate world for so long, and some of the biggest challenges that I had were working with the older gentlemen that had always done that the same way, right? It's always worked for us before. And I know that's not exactly what you're saying, but it's like that mindset of, well, no, like, is that a big challenge that you find,
I think a lot of people like doing things the way they see that has worked supposedly for them. And I'm like, that's cool. We can keep it, but let's try this other thing. Let's try it just for a minute. I don't want to be right.
Yes.
I'm just looking for the fastest path, easiest frequency, fastest path to help my client prosper with more ease and more time to themselves. The beginning part is the heavy lifting on me, and that's okay. I'm built for it. I got it. I love it. It's exciting to me. It's like a big puzzle. I want to solve people's puzzles. So when people are really stuck in their ways, I actually think it's a gift. I actually think it's a gift in order to help me help them understand a different language and get them to come, kind of like that lady of like, I just, I don't, she said, I wasn't listening. I didn't want to listen to that lady. And I was like, yeah, that's right. Because I look different. I don't look the way you think I should, whatever that is, whatever that could mean. I don't sound the way you think I should, whatever that could mean. But our gifts are presented to us in ways that don't always look and sound the way we think they should. Oops, my video went away.
Yes, it did. I'm like, where'd she go?
She just
did. I see your lovely face.
There we go, and we're back. So one of the ways of intuition, you asked about intuition, is learning to communicate it after. That's the key differentiator, because you can be a really good intuitive, but if you can't communicate that and bring it down into the earth after, that is not going to work to your favor.
Okay, explain that in different words.
So let's say you have an intuitive hit. So we'll use my app as an example.
Okay.
I had this intuitive thing of like, there's something more that I can bring all of this work for the past 30 years together. What is it? What is it? What is it? Somebody shows me, this voice thing. I'm like, that's cool. That's cool. I want that. And I was like, yeah, but I don't know. It felt like go, 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 gong, go, 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 gong, go, 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 gong. And I was like, I don't know. And then they told us they couldn't build it. And I was like, oh, that's why, because the go, go, gong, that's it. Right. And I was just like, well, I can build it. So I got one developer and he gave me a demo and I was like, yeah, that's really good. And then I was like, yeah, that's nice. I want another one. And then I got it. And yeah, that's nice. That's good. And then the one that I have it was just like, oh yeah, that's yummy. That's the way it should be. And really leaning into it's got that wheel again, that wheel. If you get that, allow that wheel to go, you will get it. It's yummy. And most people quit after go, go, gonk, or the second go, go, gonk, right? They quit. And I'm not, I'm a little determined.
You are. I'm so glad we're having these conversations, getting back to energy. That's why I connected with you, because I see the vast importance of energy, that there's different types of energy. There's things that deplete our energy. And I love what you said about woo-woo. Sometimes people think, oh, the woo-woo, and they're not curious enough about that energy. What you're saying is epic.
But the funniest thing is, every single person, even 30 years ago when I first started talking about this, every single person, I can find in their language how they're very woo. I can find it. It's like right there. You say this. Well, how does that work with this? How does that play in this? Steve Jobs, super woo, right? Elon Musk, super woo. Even Warren Buffett, he talks about it. I met I did a podcast interview with his son many years ago. And I said, so what was it like with your dad at home? And he said, oh, he would go into his office for 3 hours at a chunk. And I said, well, what was he doing in there? He says, oh, reading the numbers. I was like, what do you mean reading the numbers? He said he would just kind of, scan them and study them and look for the ones that showed up. And I was like, see? And so every single person has this. They're just, somebody like me who's not afraid to just loud and proud about it. She's like, you know what? Energy is energy. Listen, Einstein said it best. 98% of our world is unseen. Why aren't we paying attention to the unseen stuff? It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We're paying attention to less than 2%.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we have so many cool things to discover. And do good for the world.
Yes. This Rise and Roar with the Badass Lioness just hit the top 5% globally. And our general audience are women 35 to 60 who are in their next and best chapter. And we have all different kinds of guests. And you have so much strength and wisdom and power that you're bringing to this table. And it's coming at the perfect time, I believe, in our noisy world, in what's happening. There's so much craziness. There's this AI. And I love the fact that I haven't drilled the podcast down to this one little tiny box, right? We talk about everything. We do. And I believe that's why it's gone viral. And I take no credit for it. I have this gal that's been working with me and she's taught me the secret sauce, but I love to give our audience as much information. Is there anything else that you can think of? I'm just going to give you the floor and just talk about anything that you think would help that specific audience, our women.
I would say support other women, meaning, what does that mean? I grew up as one of my first, my mom, I was getting in trouble when I was in high school, and my mom put me in computer coding school. And I was good at it. And it made logical sense. And there were some women in it, but now in all of the AI world, it's all these bros, all this bro culture. I don't dispute that. I don't diss on them at all. However, the reason for that is they will champion and support and encourage and be the first to jump in and the first to buy and the first to be like, yes, I'm going to help. Yes, I want to participate. Encourage, stay in touch. And I have been doing this long enough to know that women tend to get threatened by some other women who are strong.
Yes.
I've experienced that quite enough.
Yes,
and,
me too.
And the challenge is if we do the best part of the model of the support and the encouragement and buy what other women are selling, and not just the marketing stuff, but buy their products and programs and support them and say that this person helped me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Men are more willing to say that I helped them than a woman, which is fascinating. It has been like that for all of these years. It's hilarious.
Yes, it has.
And that's okay. It's about them, not about me. But if we could do this as women toward and for and around each other, it would be so magical.
Yes.
This app idea that I created, invented, whatever, co-created, whatever, I had a call with somebody who really wanted to know about it. And she said, yeah, we're going to build something like that. And I was like, oh, why wouldn't you just use our API? It's already built. Why wouldn't you just want to just do something and have it? Because I don't understand. And men would be the first one to be like, no, let's API. Let's get those hooked up together. Let's get these working hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Let's create a synergy. And we don't do that. That's, I think, our biggest opportunity.
I agree. And to add on top of that, I don't do this anymore, but for years, I would shrink myself, that those women that you talked about that would be competitive or, disrupted by your presence. And to make them feel comfortable, I would shrink and make myself small. I don't do that anymore. And it
Yay.
is key though. My life has turned upside right the last few years by getting into women groups and tribes, whatever you want to call them, with women that are supportive. And comparison is death. Like, why would you want to compare yourself to somebody else when we're each our own magnificent creature or being, right?
Mhm.
So I'm so glad you brought that up, because there's so many times that I want to talk about that. And I'm like, well, I don't want to be negative, but it's still happening. I see it all around me. Yeah, and I walk away from those kind of groups. I'm like, I don't have time. I don't want the energy to deplete me. I will walk away and then find my tribe. Do you do that?
There's a funny story of a mastermind that I'm part of that is kind of the world's best marketers, and I'm very, very grateful to be in it, because anything that's being done out there, they've invented.
Mhm.
And there was this table, and it was a bunch of women. And I am just like, yeah, I'm just going to sit here. And there was some group breakout or, work on something that we were all going to work on at each table separately. And then they talked amongst themselves, and I tried to interject, and it was just like the Mean Girls group. And I was just like, and I just went like that. I said
The
this,
Mean Girls.
and I'm out, and I'm out. And I walked away, and a friend of mine said, what's going on? I was like, oh, they just got to do whatever they got to do. And so she tried, because she wanted to see if I was telling, whatever. She wanted to see if I was right, whatever. I don't know. And she tried. She says, oh my God, I had to leave that table. I was like, like I said, they just wanted to be mean girls to anybody who wanted. Anyway, so they weren't willing to allow anybody else to contribute or help, or especially a woman. But the men, oh yeah, the men, they wanted their input. I was like, wow, that's really fascinating. So I've seen it a lot, but I don't get upset by it. I just know that whoever they are, they have something to learn.
Mm-hmm.
They have something that they need that they're not getting.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
my energy is pushing their button. And okay, great. That's cool, because my energy is doing exactly what I'm here to do, is push people's buttons so I can get people results.
I love that. And speaking of women and tribe, I do want a shout out to my mentor and the gal who helped me do this podcast. Her name is Lori Hardy. She's a Seattle radio and TV news celebrity. And she is the epitome of the good one that we're talking about. The supports all women, is a voice of love and heartfelt leadership. And I love to do shout outs to people that really have changed my life. Meeting you, we just hit it off, I feel, and I'm so glad that we're still in contact. It truly is important to keep that alive. We can go out, and every little bit that we do, we can the little needle more towards what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If we're not, again, I'll go back to if I can just help one person, I know that one person is going to help 100 somewhere, somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, I've done my work. Would I like to have it be many more? Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Am I selfish that I'd like to have that? No, I'd like to have that because I know that if we have more, then that creates that wave and that ripple of good that we're all craving.
Yes, we are craving it.
Yes, totally.
It's better than sugar.
Yes.
No, I have to stay away from sugar. You're talking about putting nutrients in your body. That is not a nutrient. It can deplete the other nutrients, everything in moderation, which contributes to energy, as we know. I am so honored. You are welcome back anytime into the Badass Lioness community. And yeah, do you have any parting words for our lovely ladies out there?
I would just say if you want to talk, you need to know more about who I am, go to SheevaunMoran.com. It's spelled SheevaunMoran.com. And I have all kinds of free stuff there.
Yes.
I actually do get on the phone with people. So if somebody on my team calls you and said, hey, you want to get on a call, it's actually going to be me. So
It is true.
I'm really about serving and making sure that we all do something magical. If you're interested in the app, sign up and tell me where you found me from, and I'll give you a free trial. So yeah.
I'm in, baby. I am in. I've been looking for that. I've been looking for something similar. So we'll talk offline, but
Okay.
yes.
Thank
Well,
you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. You have been such a pleasure, and what a beautiful lady inside and out. Sure appreciate you taking this time. And next time on the Badass Lioness, look for more free stuff, and I'm going to put your links inside the description so they'll have full access to all of that.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. This is Ginine Emily Smith, your Badass Lioness host. Thank you for tuning in today. Our goal here, Lioness, is to help you in the most authentic way show up as the most authentic you. Please help spread the word to all women who need this. Subscribe and leave a 5-star review if you would, so we could be heard through all the noise. Please send to a friend who needs this. Love you. See you next time, Lioness.